Hello, everybody. My name is Julián Balanta-Melo, and I'm an assistant professor at the School of Dentistry in the University of Valle in Cali, Colombia. And also, I'm a part of the editorial board member of HubLE. No, today, on behalf of HubLE, I'm here to interview to Pholpat Durongbhan. So, hello, Pholpat. Can you please introduce yourself?
Hey, good morning or good evening, Julián. My name is Pholpat Durongbhan. I'm a PhD candidate at the Department of Biomedical Engineering at the University of Melbourne.
Thank you so much, Pholpat. You are presenting your work at the ANC BMS 2021 annual meeting. So can you please tell us about what are you presenting in this meeting?
Yeah, definitely. I'm presenting on the topic of time-lapse quantitative characterization of whole joint morphometric changes in a collagenase-induced osteoarthritis mouse model. Well, that's quite a bit of a mouthful, but essentially what I'm doing is I'm doing a time-lapse quantitative measurements of morphometric changes in the joint that is happening in the mouse when it got arthritis over time, using micro CT imaging, of course.
Oh, really? That's great, because we work with micro CT as well, and I really enjoy that part of the research. So what are the main findings of your results, of your research?
Well, since I'm looking at morphometric changes of the whole joint, the main findings that I saw was that there is a significant increase in the spread of the joint alignment. Okay. So the joint become more unstable. That might have been a given fact, but this is how my work actually captured this instability in terms of numbers. And we found that it actually more unstable in the anterior posterior and superior inferior direction. Wow. Of the joint, as well as an increase in the joint space width in 3D as well. So I think that is some really significant findings out of this.
Wow, that's really interesting. I really enjoy working with the 3D environment. So you're making such a 3D regional differentiation of the joint disease. This is a degenerative disease. So what are the main implications for the community of your research? Can you explain about that, please?
Well, typically when we look at osteoarthritis, we typically look using radiography or MRI, and not so often with CT. And with all three imaging modalities, it's not often that we look at the joint as a whole unit and quantify those changes of the joint as a whole unit. So by trying to track these changes over time in quantitative measures as well, like we are very fully aware that there's some changes that happens to the joint space width in radiography, but measuring that changes in joint space width in 2D and 3D is a totally different ballpark, and the challenges it presents is totally different. So by being able to capture these numbers and show that it changes over time as well, I think that's presenting a new frontier in 3D diagnosis and tracking of disease progress as well as treatment of osteoarthritis in the future.
I totally agree, because you may set up in the future, maybe cut off to determine the very same point of the disease, how to treat, how to diagnose that disease. For sure, the follow-up after some treatment, for example, that's really amazing. That's quantitative analysis. So this is really applicable for the clinical field, for example. Really nice tool. So what is next in your career regarding this research project? Are you planning on writing a paper or maybe writing a grant? What can you tell us about that?
Well, the natural first step is to actually get my PhD. But then I would definitely be writing up this as a manuscript, like the findings in this work as a manuscript, and try to publish that, as well as to consider finding a postdoc position to further my interest in quantitative imaging, extracting information from pictures in osteoarthritis or other joint diseases.
Sure. Well, thank you so much for Pholpat, for sharing with all your results, for sharing with the whole audience this amazing work. And one last question. How can we reach you in the future for further question collaboration? Do you have any media that we can use to communicate with you again?
Yeah, with to corresponding author, you can catch me by email with this name, pholpat.durongbhan@student.unimel.edu.au. I'm quite quick to reply to email, so please don't hesitate to get in touch.
Okay, Pholpat, thank you so much again for sharing with us yourselves represented at the ANC BMS 2021 annual meeting. Congratulations for your work. Really nice impact, really interesting field work. And we wish you the best for this meeting and for future research. Thank you so much for stay with us today.
Thank you, Julián.